Sports bettors, I have a 6-pick flex play on PrizePicks. I can't believe we've already hit one of these. It's a new addition to PrizePicks, and essentially, you get 6 out of 6 plays correct, you get 25 times your money, which is exactly what we did here. Now you get 5 out of 6 correct, and definitely not what we did here, but you get 5 out of 6 correct, which you can see right here, and you get 2 times your money. So we bet 80 and we got 160 back, right? So essentially these flex plays are just dynamic ways of paying you out based on how many, bets you hit in your parlay. So we've gone through the math before, and for 5-pick and 6-pick flex plays on PrizePicks, you're getting roughly minus 119 implied odds. So basically, when you first look at PrizePicks, you may think, oh, I don't understand how this platform works. It's not like a sports book, but it is like a sports book. They just don't have odds on their website. So for example, on PrizePicks, any 2-pick entry you create, you're going to see 20 to win 60. Doesn't matter if I switch this to an over, this to an under, 20 to win 60. Doesn't matter if I take this NHL pick and I replace it with an NBA or an NFL player prop. 20 to win 60. So basically, it's a fixed parlay platform, right? They're not varying your payouts depending on if you select over or under or what picks you select. So PrizePicks basically, they're giving you the same implied odds for all of your plays, which in a 5-pick or a 6-pick entry is going to be minus 119, as we've gone through in other videos. So what we want to play is ideally we can find 5 or 6 picks on PrizePicks that all look pretty profitable. So I'll take you through a couple of the plays I went with. Here's the first one. Joel Eriksson Ek. Do I know anything about this player? No, I don't. But I took his under 3 shots on goal on PrizePicks. So this is called a screen. It's called the Odds Jam screen. And what's really cool about it is for a given market, so let's say NHL, player shots on goal, whatever you want to look at though. You can look at any sport, of course, any market. It's just real-time odds. And it shows you the entire market side by side. So the first thing I noticed with this Joel Eriksson Ek guy is like, whoa, we're getting him under 3 shots on goal on PrizePicks. Barstool, the sportsbooks, have his over-under at 2.5, and half of the sportsbooks have under 2.5 shots on goal favored. And we can get under 3 shots on goal, where we're going to be pushing if he has exactly 3 shots on goal, whereas anyone who takes his under on the sportsbooks is going to be losing. So that extra half of a shot on goal, it really makes all the difference, right? Sportsbooks make money off you by charging a spread, which is called the VIG, or the juice, and it's no different on PrizePicks, right? For a 6-pick, for a 5-pick flex play, they're charging the implied odds, the implied juice of minus 119. So we need to look for value at minus 119. And I say this all the time, but there's a lot of ways to skin the cat. And one of the ways is to just look for where are their lines different from the sportsbooks in the first place. And you can see some sportsbooks have his over 2.5 shots on goal favored, some have the under favored, but long story short, it becomes pretty clear that PrizePicks is way off, setting their line at over under 3 shots on goal. So I hit the under, right? We want to take the under 3 shots on goal because all the sportsbooks are at 2.5. Next play I have, Timo Meier, over 4 shots on goal. What you're going to notice is Underdog Fantasy, which works exactly like PrizePicks basically, they have their line at 4.5. Just like an investor, is always looking for value, you're doing the exact same thing as a sharp sports bettor. You're simply looking for value. Value enough to beat the vig, beat the juice. I say this all the time, a lot of the plays I give out on Twitter, I use a bunch of these verifiable bet trackers like Pickett Sports and places where people can follow along with all my plays and see all my bets in real time. And everyone has losing days, right? But if you're finding value, if you're beating the vig, beating the juice, and you're finding plays with an edge, then you're guaranteed to make money in the long run. due to the law of large numbers, right? So here, we're getting over 4 shots on goal. All of the sports books have the line at over under 4.5. Underdog has the line at over under 4.5. So that's a play with value. If there's exactly 4 shots on goal for this player, we're going to be pushing, right? We're going to push on PrizePicks. Everyone else who bet this on Underdog or on the sports books, they're going to lose. So this is another one I went with. And then the final play I went with from the screen is right here. And this play's incredible. Mark Stone, over 2 shots on goal. His over-under on PrizePicks, over-under 2. On the sportsbooks, 2.5. Seems pretty good, being able to get over 2 when all the sportsbooks are at over-under 2.5. So these are big discrepancies, right? That is a big discrepancy. And you may be like, well, why don't you play William Karlsson under 2 shots on goal? Well, what you're going to notice is here, all of the sportsbooks, Pinnacle right here, they have the over 1.5 juiced all the way to minus 200. They have the over 1.5 as a minus 200, as a 2-to-1 favorite. So being able to get under 2 at minus 119 doesn't seem particularly great. But being able to get over 2 at minus 119, when all the sportsbooks have the over 2.5 at minus 106, just 13 cents away, seems like pretty clear value, right? There's not a big jump from 2 to 2.5. So it's clear PrizePicks is just slipping up and their line should be at over under 2.5. And it's not. So the next plays I went with, I love to use this screen, but OddsJam is all about making data actionable. So we already have 3 picks. But again, when I say making data actionable, there's millions of odds across the sports betting market, across the sports betting ecosystem. If you look on PrizePicks, all the different stuff they probably have 15,000, 10,000 different things you can bet on, over, under, stuff like that, between all the sports. So as a sharp bettor, we want to look for value, right? We need to identify where is the value. And these lines are constantly moving around, lineups are changing, players are getting injured. So really the only way to do that is to use software. So we use the screen, we use the positive EV tool. And what this positive EV tool is, it's a bit different than the screen, is it compares lines that are set at the same level. So as an example, we can see Markelle Fultz, his over 4.5 assists line. So all the sports books and PrizePicks, they're setting the line at the same level. So that's unlike the plays we just saw on the screen. On the screen, we are looking at Timo over 4 shots on goal, whereas all the sports books and Underdog Fantasy have his line at over under 4.5. Here, all the sports books, they do have Fultz's over under at 4.5 assists, but they have the over heavily juiced, right? DraftKings has it minus 150, BetOnline minus 164, Pinnacle minus 167, Betway minus 125. This OddsJam column is just Pinnacle odds. Caesars has this as almost a 2-to-1 favorite at minus 194. So we looked across the entire market. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sports books, because this is the same as this, and then this is just PrizePicks, a fantasy company. And it becomes pretty clear that, being able to get Fultz over 4.5 assists at minus 119 implied odds, that seems pretty incredible, considering all the sports books have this minus 150, I would say on average. So we picked up value. Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker in the world, they're, 48 cents away. They're pricing this at minus 167. BetOnline has this minus 164. So clearly we're picking up great value at minus 119 implied odds on PrizePicks. Next play I went with, you can see there's a bunch out there. So obviously I typically just sort OddsJam for the sportsbooks I'm looking for bets on with the highest profit margin first. And you can see, there's a bunch of other plays available, slightly lower profit margin. And what I ended up going with is here. So Denny over 2.5 assists from the EV page. Skinner under 3.5 shots on goal from the EV page. So there we have, 2 plays with profit margins over 2%. Then we have the best one from the EV page, Fultz over 4.5 assists, right? And then we have Two of these plays we found on the screen. Or three of these plays we found on the screen. I apologize. So right here we have Timo Meyer over 4 shots on goal, Mark Stone over 2, Joel Eriksson Ek under 3. So got some plays open, 80 to win $2,000. Let's make money.